Merry day after Christmas. Here are 4 classic movies to watch in English. Hi there, everyone. I'm Jeff. JR is the producer, and this is lesson 532 of Plain English. You can find the full lesson at plainenglish.com/532. I hope you had a nice Christmas if you celebrate. For many of you, you still have decorations up, maybe still a Christmas tree, and you've opened your gifts, but maybe you don't quite want the fun to end just yet. If that's you, then you might want to put on a Christmas-themed movie this week. And if that's not you, if you don't celebrate Christmas, then you can still watch these movies to get a little glimpse into the Christmas culture. Today's expression is fend off, and we have a quote of the week. What is a Christmas movie? Well, first of all, it has to take place around the Christmas holiday. That's a given. But it also needs to include some Christmas themes. These could be religious themes directly tied to the holiday, or to more general themes like generosity, gratitude, family, morality, community, things like that. So here are 4 Christmas movies from 4 different decades. First, It's a Wonderful Life. Most lists of best Christmas movies put this one near the top. It's the oldest movie on my list, and it's also one of my favorites. It's a Wonderful Life came out in 1947. It stars Jimmy Stewart as a small-town banker, and there's a run on the bank, meaning everyone loses faith in the bank and they want their money back all at once. The bank is at risk of failing. And George Bailey, Jimmy Stewart's character, is ready to end his life. But a guardian angel stops him. The angel shows him what the world would be like without George Bailey in it. And of course, it all takes place at Christmas time. This is one of the best classic movies of all time, and certainly one of the best, if not the best, Christmas movies in English. Next up, 1965. This was an animated special, A Charlie Brown Christmas. It was the very first television special to be based on Charles Schulz's Peanuts characters. Charlie Brown is not in the Christmas spirit at the beginning of the special. His pal Lucy has an idea for how to cheer him up. Charlie Brown should produce a Christmas pageant, like a small play. He decides to do that, but the Christmas tree he selects for the pageant is small and sickly. Everyone makes fun of him for it. It's so weak that it can't support the weight of a single ornament. But his friends later band together to bring the tree back to life and decorate it properly. This was a huge hit when it first aired, and it's a staple on television in the US during the Christmas season. Now for one of my favorites growing up, Home Alone. It takes place in the Chicago suburbs. A huge family is getting ready to go on vacation. They rent a van to take them to the airport. but they forget Kevin, an 8-year-old boy who was sleeping in the attic. He wakes up to find that he's home alone. His family forgot him. While he's waiting for his family to get back, he has to fend off 2 robbers. There's good music in this one too. Next up is Elf from 2003. This is a great one. A small human boy accidentally falls into Santa's sleigh, and he rides with Santa back to the North Pole. There, Santa's elves raise him as one of their own. They name him Buddy. And he's a human, so he's much bigger than the other elves. One year, Santa sends him to New York City, where he can look for his biological father. This is a comedy, of course, about a clash of cultures and expectations. How does a human adult male raised as an elf fare in New York? He combines spaghetti with M&Ms, and he eats it all with his hands. He treats a revolving door like an amusement park ride. But he also knows how to put together some beautiful decorations. One movie not on the list is Die Hard. This is kind of a joke, at least in America, where people argue about whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not. On the one hand, yes, it features an office holiday party. It takes place around Christmas time. Christmas decorations appear in the film. But it's an action thriller about German bank robbers who kidnap a cop's daughter. This is not in the spirit of the season, but people love to debate it. And as one article said, setting alone is not a sufficient condition for genre classification. Oh, and for the record, Lethal Weapon isn't a Christmas movie either. Today's expression is to fend off. To fend something off is to protect yourself from something that is attacking you, something or someone. It's common to say fend off when talking about people. And that's what happened in Home Alone, right? Do you remember? 2 robbers know that the family is going to be away for Christmas. So they plan to rob the house while it's empty. But the family forgot to take 8-year-old Kevin with them on vacation. So Kevin has to fend off the robbers while he's home alone. He needs to defend himself and defend his house from being attacked by robbers. Ukraine is fighting a war with Russia. The war is on the battlefield in Ukrainian territory, but the war is also online. Russia has launched an unprecedented cyber attack against Ukraine. Russia has tried to use computer-based attacks to paralyze Ukrainian infrastructure, banks, government, and other critical services that use computer connectivity. But Ukraine has been able to fend off the worst cyber attacks so far. This is one major success of the war. Ukraine has been building up its cyber defenses for years, and it draws on a lot of expertise in the region too. Ukraine has been able to fend off the worst cyber attacks from Russia. That means they have been able to defend themselves against the worst cyber attacks. You can use this in sports. When you hear this, the World Cup will be over, but I wrote this early, so I don't know how it ends. But here's a story I saw in the round of 16. England was trying to fend off a talented team from Senegal. England was able to fend off Senegal and advance to the next round. Can central banks fend off inflation without causing a recession? Inflation, in this case, is the thing on attack. We all feel that, right? So to fend off inflation, to protect us from inflation, central banks have been raising interest rates. But that also sometimes causes a recession, which is not much better than inflation. So the question is, can central banks fend off inflation without causing a recession? Today's quote of the week is from John Milton, an English poet from the 1600s. These were tough poems to get through in school, let me tell you. Not easy to understand. But here's a quote you might like. The mind can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. That is true. That is quite true. In your own mind, you can make a bad situation seem good or a good situation seem bad. Up to you. Sometimes I have to stop myself and make sure that my mind isn't turning a good situation into a bad one. Here's that quote again from John Milton. The mind can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. Well, that's all for today. Have you seen the Charlie Brown Christmas special? It's cute. And the creator of Peanuts characters, Charles Schulz, would have turned 100 this year. And to celebrate that, we'll talk about the Peanuts comic strip on Thursday's lesson. See you then.